This is Uranium Island, a secluded island once known for its lush greenery. But now Uranium Island is known for something else, something much darker, something straight out of a nightmare. This ancient infernal beast now rules over this place. It's his kingdom, his hunting grounds. But believe it or not, Choo Choo Charles didn't always call this island home. You see, Choo Choo Charles wasn't always a monster. One of his earliest memories was that of his parents' fatal car accident. Charles was the sole survivor. Guilt-ridden and completely alone, he had no idea how to make his way through this world.
Get out of here, kid. Yeah, this place is too dangerous for you.
Then what are you doing here?
We live here.
You live here? On the train?
Yep, we hop trains all across the country. No home, no strings. No taxes. Completely off the grid. But that's no life for a little guy like you, so scram.
Charles thought about what the punks had said. Living in a train car and riding across the country didn't sound half bad. After all, everything around him reminded him of his parents. It was unbearable. So he decided he would start a new life on the rails. For the most part, he loved that life. The adventure, the danger. He saw more of the world in a year than many people see in their entire life. It was terribly lonely. He had no one to share his adventures with. The spiders inside the train cars became his family, and he became increasingly attached to them.
Looks like someone's sitting in our car, boys.
But I've been living here for the last year. It's the only home I have.
I don't see how that's my problem.
Now, look, I don't want any trouble.
Listen here, pal. We can do this the easy way or the hard way. So if you'll excuse me, I think this car might be under new ownership. Hey, get away from that kid or I'll tie you to the tracks myself and run you right over. Jeez, old man, we were just kidding. No, I don't want to see any of your ugly mugs around here again. You hear me? Let's get out of here. Trains are lame anyway. So you're the kid who's been hopping my train. I've heard about you, but I've never seen you for myself. What's a little guy like you doing on his own?
My parents died. I didn't know where else to go. I'm sorry. I won't bother you anymore.
You know, I sure could use an assistant.
An assistant?
Yeah, a conductor's assistant. Someone to help me out. Make sure the train runs nice and smooth.
Yeah, I'd love to.
And with that, Charles began a new life as an assistant conductor on the very train he hopped. Charles loved his new job. He loved seeing the world. He loved learning about the train. But most importantly, he wasn't alone anymore.
Hey, you know what would really help? Let everyone know we're coming. Hold that lever right there.
Whoa!
There you go. That's my little Choo Choo Charles.
Charles took to life with his new father figure right away. He spent his entire childhood on that train as the conductor taught him everything he needed to know. After many years, the time came for a new conductor. Charles' adoptive father had grown old and tired. He knew it was time to pass on the hat, and he knew the perfect person for it. Despite everything, all the trauma and despair, it seemed as if Charles was going to be able to live a happy and fulfilling life. Then, a dark day came. He quickly learned that his conductor dreams were coming to an immediate end. The company he had been working for since he was little was going under. Charles and his train were put out of commission. He was inconsolable, desperate. Life on the train was all he ever knew. What could he do now?
This is Charles.
Hello, Charles. My name is Warren. Do you have a moment to talk? I have a proposition for you.
Warren Charles III was an up-and-coming titan of the mining industry. He was hatching a big plan to build an all-new rail system on the remote island of Uranium. Gold had been discovered on the island, and Warren wanted to take advantage of it before anyone else snuck in. The details were fuzzy, and the contract was shady, but Charles would do anything to reclaim his old life on the rails. But Charles made a somewhat surprising discovery. Someone had already tried to build a railway before they even got here. When he asked Warren about it, Warren claimed contract disputes, sudden illness, and the like as an excuse for the former project leads leaving. But Charles remained suspicious.
Where'd you get that from?
Scraps, believe it or not. Totally free. You see, our company prides itself on being cost-effective.
But if you cut corners on cost, the materials won't be as...
Oh, I'm sorry. Are you an accountant?
Well, no, but...
Then I'd keep my mouth shut and ride my little choo-choo train if I were you.
The big day came at last, the maiden voyage. But Charles had his worries. He knew that the poorly constructed railways Warren had commissioned could put everyone in danger. So, he decided to take on the risks himself.
Mr. Warren, I'd like to conduct the maiden voyage alone, if that's all right.
Sounds splendid. We'll save tons of money without any additional crew.
Choo choo.
It seemed as though Charles' suspicions were confirmed, but though the ride was unpleasant, nothing had gone wrong. Yet.
I knew it! That Warren Charles is going to pay! No!
Charles crept through the mines in search of any way out. The mine twisted and turned, but no matter what tunnel he went down, he was searching in vain. There was no way out. He was terrified, but what he saw next was worse than he ever could have imagined. You see, Charles was not the first member of the Warren Charles Mining Company to operate a train here on Uranium Island. Far from it.
Hello? Yeah!
Charles was right. The cut corners doomed each train to fail and fall to its demise. Conductor after conductor got trapped in the mines and left for dead by Warren. Charles dug through the cars and took what little supplies he could find to survive, but he knew it wouldn't last him long. Hours passed, then a day, then another. Charles knew that he was stranded for good and that he wouldn't survive much longer. Then, as he took a path he hadn't gone down before, he made another discovery. Charles snatched it up with glee, a potential food source. Charles ate whatever was inside that egg, which proved to be a terrible idea. The spider offspring within the egg entered Charles' body and took him over, making him its host. For its exoskeleton, the train provided a perfect layer of protection. And that resulted in the monster we know as Choo Choo Charles, determined to get revenge on the people who left him for dead. Unfortunately, Charles' strength was not enough for him to break free, so he decided he must wait. Years passed before Warren Charles Mining Company created a functional train system, and when they finally did, miners were sent down into the canyon to get to work.
Yeah! Whoa!
The miners celebrated, ready to take the riches that awaited them. But then they heard a mysterious noise. Their greed set Choo Choo Charles free at last. Only one man made it out alive. He ran to the village and told everyone of the horrors he'd witnessed. Since that day, everyone on the island has lived in fear of Choo Choo Charles.